This episode is brought to you by Marqeta. When it comes to your payments provider, you can't afford to compromise. Marqeta's modern payment solutions flex with your business without the trade-offs. Stable and agile, secure and innovative, scalable and configurable. If they say you can't have it all, don't believe them. Your business demands more. Choose a payments provider that delivers more. Choose Marqeta. Visit marqeta.com/Spotify to learn more.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku. And it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, lots of news happening. First and foremost, just a little bit ago, President Trump signing the bill to direct the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files. So that means that the DOJ has 30 days in order to release the materials. They're going to go through it, find what might be classified information, what needs to be redacted, what doesn't. What do you think we will see? Now, President Trump, again, signing the bill. He put out the notice on Truth Social saying it's done. He also is saying that the Democrats are going to have egg on their face. We will definitely get to that because, boy, oh boy, there are many details surrounding that case and what could be in the documents and what couldn't. And also tonight, it looks like the Democrats are in a bit of a kerfuffle, especially when it comes to the Epstein files. You have the Democratic delegate. This is the woman from the Virgin Islands who was texting with Epstein. And she's saying, well, you know, I just was talking to a constituent. Does anybody believe that? Well, we're going to talk about that tonight. Also, some other very big news, a lot of big news on this Wednesday night. President Donald Trump announcing that he is going to be meeting with Zohran Mamdani, the New York City Mayor-elect, and he's going to be meeting with him Friday in the Oval Office. So I can't wait to hear what you think. How do you think that meeting is going to go? We were talking earlier in the week, John Catsimatidis and I. John had a great analogy. He thinks it's going to go kind of like that meeting, remember, with Trump and Zelensky, the first one, where they erupted and Zelensky was scolded and put in his place by Donald Trump when he said, "You're not holding the cards." That is pretty similar to what's going on here. In fact, that's a very good analogy. But this is going to be one for the record books. I was curious, would he meet with them in the Oval Office? Where would it go? Will there be any video? Will there be any pictures? Maybe there will, because I bet you Donald Trump would love to kind of show that moment of him putting this, quote, communist, this radical democratic socialist in his place. And here's the announcement when President Trump came out with it. Communist mayor of New York City, Zohran Mamdani, has asked for a meeting. We have agreed that this meeting will take place at the Oval Office on Friday, November 21st. Details to follow. This is going to be a classic. I can't wait to see this. I hope he shows it because Donald Trump will sit there and go, that's actually not correct. No, that's not correct. No, that's not correct. And then Mamdani will sit there with his little smile and say, we just want to be affordable. We just want to do this. I didn't really believe in defund the police. I hope all of Donald Trump's team have all of Mamdani's quotes, text messages, all of these vile things that he said in the past. And I hope that they go, excuse me, let's read what you said in 2023. Let's read what you said in 2021. And if you abide by these things, if you do good for New York and for America, okay. But if you play these anti-Semitic games like you have said in the past and you abide by the Democratic Socialists of America, maybe we're going to have a little bit of a problem. I can't wait to see this. And Mamdani seems like he is full of bluster. This guy is brazen as all get out. He's already said that he's going to go to the White House. Here he is, the mayor-elect of New York City. He was a rapper not that long ago. He's 34 years old, a very unremarkable assemblyman, but he is going to be the mayor of New York. God help us. And here he is when he said, I really want to talk to New York because guess what? I want to talk about affordability. Listen to this.
And so it is time for us to reckon with the fact that while organizations like Catholic Charities and POTS have been doing such incredible work, we need to deliver a city hall that will work with them and also work to protect New Yorkers from a federal administration that would rather starve the people of the city than serve the people of the city.
Mayor-elect Mamdani will meet with anyone to talk about the affordability crisis. And to President Trump, he would say, your policies aren't working.
Policies to throw hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers off of SNAP, policies to detain and deport New Yorkers as young as 6 years of age, policies that seek to push New Yorkers even more out of the place they call home. Those are not only hurting New Yorkers, they're not only hurting the city, they're also in direct contradiction to so much of what the president spoke about in his campaign.
There's not yet a timeline for the meeting. The president says,
the mayor of New York, I will say, would like to meet with us and we'll work something out. But he would like to come to Washington and meet, and we'll work something out. We want to see everything work out well for New York.
Mac Rosenberg's 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
And boy, oh boy, that is an interesting dynamic. You know, he's coming in all puffy chest and saying, I'm going to meet with the president. And bravo to Donald Trump. He will meet with anybody, anytime, anywhere. He's even going to meet with the communist Mamdani. That certainly says a lot about him, that he's willing to meet with this local New York City mayor who's had nothing but negative things and nothing but campaigning about standing up to Trump. That's been his whole mantra. So today, some other big news on the Mamdani front, guys. He is keeping Jessica Tisch, the NYPD commissioner, highly respected. I think she's qualified. She has definitely gotten a lot of great reviews from the men and women in blue, and that's the most important thing. And the community, of course. A lot of people trust her and like her. Governor Kathy Hochul said that was a criteria for her. That she really wanted to make sure that Jessica Tisch was going to stay on. She's the current police commissioner under Eric Adams. So there were a lot of questions as to whether this person who has a law and order history would she even want to stay on with Zohran Mamdani. I still have my doubts as to whether she should stay with him, period. I feel like in many ways she gives him a stamp of approval that he does not deserve. But today, Jessica Tisch went down and she met with Zohran Mamdani. They went down and they went to the memorial, which honors those men and women in blue who have lost their lives. And it was interesting that that was their first public event together. She didn't really talk too much. He talked a little bit on the way out, but they were very visible walking together as she was pointing to names and showing those who have sacrificed, given the ultimate sacrifice to help and protect and serve all of us. And I can't think of a more powerful place. And here is what she said as to why she was there with Zohran Mamdani.
Right now, we're here to visit the memorial and honor the legacy of service that so many of our officers have left. And I'm sure there will be plenty of time to discuss all of that. But I really want to leave politics out of today's discussion.
Which was probably smart. Because, boy, there are a lot of things to talk about. They're very different on the whole raise the age issue. Also on the bail reform. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And that's why I'm still not sure if she should have accepted the job. I don't think he deserves her. I really don't. On one hand, I like it because she is protecting New York. And she said she's doing it for New York City, for the men and women in blue. And on one hand, it gives, I think many of the police comfort, and that's a great thing. So there's the plus of it for sure, that they know that there's an adult in the room. Kathy Hochul saying after he made the selection and that she agreed to doing it. I'm talking about Jessica Tisch. She came out and said, this will hopefully give the federal government Trump comfort, that there will be essentially law and order, and you have an adult in the room taking care of the New York Police Department. So I think that that's part of it. This is kind of like Trump. We can take care of it. You don't need to send in the National Guard. You don't need to do some of these things to New York. We got it under control with Jessica Tisch. On the other hand, I worry how much control she's going to have with the Zohran Mamdani and these Democratic Socialists of America who believe in the defund the police. He said it in the past himself. Open up the jail cells. Defund the police. He talked about the boot of the neck of the NYPD laced with the IDF, with the Israeli Defense Forces. And what, now he's going to be some big supporter of the men and women in blue? I find that hard to believe. But here he is, and he was there at the memorial with Jessica Tisch, and here is what he said about his view of what's happening with policing when he becomes the mayor of the biggest city in America.
When we look at the fact that officers had a response time of less than 11 minutes in 2020, today it's closer to 16. A lot of that has to do with the fact that so many of these responsibilities continue to increase. It's time to make sure police officers can do policing and that we have a Department of Community Safety that can take on these other issues.
And that's where it gets interesting, this Department of Community Safety, because earlier, just a few hours ago, we were talking with Ray Kelly, of course, the great former NYPD commissioner. Now, Ray believes this Department of Community Safety is going to be a little bit of a guise, if you will, where a lot of the money is going to go to this Department of Community Safety, which is going to have social workers and, community safety officers, not police officers, responding to calls. Now, Zohran Mamdani is very tricky with his language, like, oh, you know what? We want to free up police to be able to respond to the real calls. The problem is you don't know what's a real call and what isn't a real call. You don't know if suddenly a caller on the phone says, oh, yeah, I'm here with my son and we're having a fight, but everything's okay, but I'd like you to come over. And what, you send a social worker at that point? And guess what? The son happens to be armed, or even if he isn't armed, he's on drugs and he gets out of control, tries to kill an officer, and you want to have a social worker in that situation? So that's why Ray Kelly believes this sort of Department of Community Safety is really like a secret code word for defund the police. Because guess what's going to happen? He's going to put all these resources into this Department of Community Safety, and he's not going to put as much into the regular policing areas. He's going to say, okay, well, we have X amount of budget, so we're going to take less away from the regular cops. And then these social workers will get a whole bunch of stuff to appease Zohran Mamdani's social experiment. And that's where this gets tricky, and it could get really messy. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And you are listening to The Rita Cosby Show. Let's go to your calls, guys. Let's go to Al in Yonkers. Al, what do you make? I cannot wait to watch the body language, and I hope that they show video. I hope we hear a little bit. Sometimes you hear of these meetings, sometimes you don't hear as much, or sometimes you hear just a few minutes. I would love to see this meeting with Trump and also with Mamdani. Do you think it's going to go vis-a-vis Trump and the first Zelensky meeting?
Yeah, Rita, first off, thanks for taking my call. I think the scheduled meeting for Friday, I think President Trump is going to make the best of the bad situation. One thing about the president, he's very hospitable. He'll meet with people who disagreed with him or have been political detractors of his in the past. So I think it's going to be, I think they'll be cordial with each other. But of course, it's a bad situation.
And I think, to your point, yes, the president, I give him, by the way, Al, I give him a lot of credit because there are a lot of people. I mean, Zohran Mamdani, his whole campaign was, I'm going to block Trump. I'm going to block Trump. I don't really say defund the police, even though I did say it many times in the past, and I'm still saying it, code word, wink, wink.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not anti-Semitic, even though the boots of the NYPD are laced by IDF, and everything in the DSA platform seems anti-Semitic to me. It's really incredible. So, but the good news is Trump has got his game. America's got his game. So, and he's going to try to kind of smile and do all this other stuff. So I give Trump a lot of credit for having that meeting, because a lot of people would say, I'm not going to meet with this guy who just spent, the last X months trashing me and thinking that he's more clever than me. And he's going to talk in word salads with a big smile. Who wins, who loses in the meeting? And do you think there'll be some heated moments, Al?
No, I personally think it will go cordial because I think Mayor-elect Mamdani, like you pointed out so correctly, is that the president holds so much of the monies to help on a federal level to help the city, the municipality on a state level. For instance, back in the mid 70s when, the city, New York City was near bankruptcy and Mayor Beam at the time and Governor Carey went to meet Ford in Ford's inner circle, and they basically told him to take a walk. But I don't think President Trump is going to do that because, like you've always stressed so correctly, he likes the city. He's, he was raised in Queens. He lived in Manhattan. He still has a place there. So I think he's going to try to work the best with the mayor-elect.
Yeah, I do too. I think he will. I think if he starts to kind of get into some of these word salads and Trump can read right through it, he may throw a few zingers like, a lot of your comments were unsavory or a lot of this. But anyway, let's start, so there may be some of that, like sort of offhanded comments, because I don't think he wants to look like he's fully embracing him either, because this guy, this is like no other visitor, I think, in terms of in modern times for President Trump, because he is so extreme. But it's going to be fun. I can't wait to watch the body language. It's definitely, I think it will be cordial, but there could be some kind of little zingers back and forth. And this guy seems a little pompous. He may throw some stuff back too. Who knows? He seems a little bit full of himself, and he shouldn't be, especially when you're in front of the president of the United States. So I think Trump won't have any of that. Al, thank you very much. 1-800-848-9222.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.
Home to The Rachel Maddow Show, Morning Joe, The Briefing with Jen Psaki, and more voices you know and trust. MS Now is your source for news, opinion, and the world. Our name is new, but you'll find the same commitment to justice, progress, and the truth that you've relied on for decades. We'll continue to cover the day's news, ask the tough questions, and explain how it impacts you. MS Now. Same mission, new name. Learn more at ms.now.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. New players, new games, new rules. Squid Game, The Challenge returns for a gripping second season. 456 contestants from all walks of life, competing in the ultimate test of strategy, alliances, and endurance. For a life-changing prize of $4.56 million. With stakes this high, why make friends when you can make millions? Catch up on the latest episodes, now playing only on Netflix.
This is a real good story about Bronx and his dad, Ryan, real United Airlines customers.
We were returning home, and one of the flight attendants asked Bronx if he wanted to see the flight deck and meet Captain Andrew.
I got to sit in the driver's seat.
I grew up in an aviation family, and seeing Bronx kind of reminded me of myself when I was that age.
That's Andrew, a real United pilot.
These small interactions can shape a kid's future.
It felt like I was the captain.
Allowing my son to see the flight deck will stick with us forever.
That's how good leads the way.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's continue your calls. Let's go to Harriet in Brooklyn, line 4. Harriet, your thoughts about this meeting.
First of all, it's a pleasure speaking with you. Happy birthday.
Thank
you.
Dear
lady.
Thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you.
let me give you a Yeshka Polska, Yeshka Niele, Pukini, Shiagi, Yeshka Vodka, Doklas Jela. I don't remember the rest.
Actually, you're doing great, Dziękuję bardzo. Great Polish song. Thank you.
All Polish all the way of Warsaw. My father was a Jewish war veteran. My great uncle was a World War I veteran. See, Mamdani is
and actually, do me a favor, Harriet. Just because you're such a good singer, you got to hold on. All right, we're going to go to a break. I'm going to come back with you. We got a hard break here. So after we do our great Back the Blue, I'm going to come back to you, and I want to hear your thoughts on Mamdani. But since you had such great birthday wishes, I want to hold you over.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Say hello to the all-new Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do so much more for you. Need tickets to see your favorite artist? Craving your comfort restaurant? Just sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. It learns your style, anticipates what's next, and makes it happen across Echo, Fire TV, and more. Learn more at Amazon.com/new Alexa. This episode is brought to you by Blink. Why wait for Black Friday? Blink Friday starts now with up to 65% off Blink Smart Security. Check on your pets all season long with new Blink Mini 2K Plus cameras. See your gifts arrive in head-to-toe view with Blink Video Doorbell. From pet parents to jet setters to busy families, Blink Friday deals have your holidays covered. Shop now at Amazon.com/Blink.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day, yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes of network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du noch?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Rita Cosby is on. The Rita Cosby Show presents Back the Blue.
And this Back the Blue segment is coming from Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, where police officers rescued a resident from a burning home. The fire broke out around 10 o'clock in the morning at a house, with officers arriving to very heavy smoke conditions, so much so they could not see inside. Obviously, it was engulfed in flames at the time. So 2 officers broke a sliding glass door, and then they were able to locate a woman amidst that massive smoke. They then pulled the woman toward the rear exit, and the officers then carried her outside to safety. The chief there of police in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, said when they arrived, they could not see. It was incredibly heavy smoke condition. These 2 officers put their lives at risk to rescue this lady, and thank goodness all are expected to be okay. One of the officers, by the way, had very serious smoke inhalation. You can imagine just what they experienced that day, but everybody getting out safely and incredibly. Thanks to our great men and women in blue. And you know how much I love our law enforcement. Well, Zohran Mamdani now picking the NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch, the law and order gal. And a lot of people are saying that it's obviously a good move. It shows that she can kind of keep them in check. Many people are wondering how long she's going to stay on the job, because if this guy lives up to what he said he was going to do, I would say she'll last about 5 minutes. Anybody would not be able to put up with this, and she doesn't need to either. This is a woman, she comes from very successful background, very successful family, highly respected within the department. And when Zohran Mamdani talked about some of the criteria as to why he picked her, one of the reasons was that she rooted out corruption within the police department. That was one of the first things he said. It's like, wait a minute, that shouldn't be the criteria for picking the NYPD commissioner. Maybe that's one of the things, but that's not like the first priority. And that's what he always consistently seems to mention as the criteria for picking an NYPD commissioner. He says, oh, she rooted out bad cops, essentially. Oh, yeah, and helped community safety. Maybe he's got his priorities all out of whack. I think he does. And let's not forget, even though he says, no, I never said defund the police, he said it over and over and over again. And I believe he still firmly believes it. He just doesn't want to say it. He's going to kind of shift money to this community policing department and move it away from good cops. He's already planning to kill, he said on the campaign trail, what's called the Strategic Response Group. And that's the police group that are highly trained when there's an active shooter or if there's a major protest. Those are the ones that go out. So he's saying, no, they don't need to go because those are free speech. The protests are free speech. You don't need to send police there. What if they're held up or they're actually like threatening Jewish students? I guess that's free speech. Not in my book. But here is Zohran Mamdani. You got to listen to this. This is him in 2021. And clear as day, he wanted to defund the police. Take a listen.
About defund the NYPD, the entirety of the push is defund the NYPD and refund all of these different social services and things that actually create safety.
Now changing his tune, claiming he doesn't want to defund the police.
I've been very clear about my view of public safety and the critical role that police have in creating that. The vision that we've put forward in this campaign, despite what others may say, is not to defund the police. It is, in fact, to allow those officers to respond to these serious crimes that many of them signed up to address.
Right. And here is Zohran Mamdani rallying up the crowd, talking about how there shouldn't be any money going to Israel, that there should be no U.S. aid to one of our greatest allies.
Hello, everyone! Who is ready to end U.S. military aid to Israel? Who is ready to end $3.8 billion in annual military aid? My name is Zohran Mamdani. I am the assembly member for the 36th district here in New York State. That is Astoria and Long Island City. And I am proud to be here at this protest. I am proud to stand unapologetically for the freedom of Palestinians. It is at the core of my politics.
So it's at the core of his politics. He's proud to stand there. This is who he is. This is his being. And yet he's going to walk into the Oval Office and say, oh, no, I love police and I support everybody. And I hope President Trump says, you said you're going to arrest Netanyahu. Are you kidding me? You want to get federal funds? Are you kidding me? I hope President Trump puts this little punk in his place. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. Let's go back to Harriet, since she does great Polish music. Go ahead, Harriet.
Thank you very much. Rita, according to the Nuremberg laws, the judges established a new legal concept that the men who create wars and the men who encourage them are guilty of crimes against humanity. He is encouraging Zohran Mamdani, globalizing the Intifada. His friends are radical Islamist fundamentalists, and he is a war criminal. He is breaking the laws of Nuremberg that were established. He is a war criminal. He is an Islamo-Nazi, and he is aiding and abetting war crimes against Christians and Jews. In the mosques, they are saying first the Saturday people, then the Sunday people. And when he goes up to the White House, why doesn't the president, who is a wonderful, great patriot, why doesn't he, after he questions him about globalizing the intifada, let's bring in the Marines and the military and deport him to Guantanamo and put him on trial in a military trial.
So wait, Harriet. So you think what you just he goes right from the Oval Office to Gitmo, do not pass go? Does he get time to pack a bag or no?
Well, all I know is he's guilty of war crimes against humanity, according to Nuremberg. This is 1939 all over again. Did you hear him? He sounds like Adolf Hitler. The guy's a maniac. The guy's an insane narcissist.
But you know the problem is, Harriet, and I'm not sure if I would go to that extreme, but he is definitely a clear and present danger, by the way. And yes, but he is the mayor-elect of New York City. He is the duly elected mayor, which is really frightening. I mean, as far as we know, he's the duly elected. And you look at, I'd like to know who's the money behind him and some of the other things, are they all appropriate or not? Because he went from 1% to suddenly winning. But he is going to be the mayor, and that's what's so frightening. And what I'm also concerned about, Harriet, like these people with the Democratic Socialists of America, they've made it very clear that he is going to be beholden to them. And I also don't think he's going to have a problem with it because he seems to agree with everything they're saying. It's not like they're throwing out things that he doesn't want to do. But if you look at this list, this DSA list it's all anti-Israel. And it's really vile, to your point, and reprehensible and really distasteful. And it's throwing down, a U.S. ally. There's so many things that he's talking about, arresting Netanyahu, all of this stuff. And he's still saying it. That's what's scary. Like, he's going to try to do a little bit of word salad, I think, when he gets to President Trump, which I know President Trump will pick up on. He'll say, I don't use the phrase globalize intifada. Remember that whole thing that he did with New York one with Errol Lewis? Errol asked him, why are you saying, globalize the intifada? And he gave this enormous word salad answer that was absolutely incredible. Like, I'm not using that phrase anymore because some people find it distasteful. Well, it's pretty obvious it's distasteful. And the follow-up question should have been to him, well, isn't it disgusting to go after Israel like this? Like yes or no? And do you condone or do you find it reprehensible Sharia law? Like, there needed to be so many tougher questions thrown at him in the campaign. But I hope President Trump interrupts him and says, I hear your word salad. My question to you is yes or no. And listen, he has a lot of purse strings he can hold back. The president, they give a lot of money to New York. Obviously, Trump does want New York to be safe for everybody. On the other hand, he's not going to be a pushover to this guy. But I see this guy kind of coming in thinking he's all big and bad. And now the Democratic Socialists visiting the White House. You can see the posts on social media. Our wonderful Zohran comes to the Oval Office, Oh, God. I know, Harriet, pray. I'm telling you, it is, we're in for crazy times. There is no doubt about it. And we'll see if they put out like a video clip, they may allow even reporters to ask questions of Zohran Mamdani, or maybe they just put out a video picture and say, here's what happened. And Trump puts out a statement. Sometimes they do that. What do you think? Do you think they'll put out a video clip? Do you think they'll show them sitting there and play the conversation? What do you think?
Rita, I think so. He lied on his citizenship papers. He said nothing about these things when he, that was the time, I guess, of the Biden administration. They let a lot of these people in. All this questionable, evil, revolutionary Islamist philosophy, everything that he said, it was not reported on his citizenship papers. And in that way, I hear a lot of people say he should be disqualified. There are ways, beside the crazy money that came in behind him, the evil money, the hidden money that came in is another story. So there are different ways of getting him one way or another, because this is the incarnation of evil here, and it's got to be addressed by the United States of America. A lot of veterans are very, very sad that this man is in power and that he is going to the White House. God bless President Trump. I know that he has the incentive and he has the intelligence and the great aptitude to take care of this maniac.
Yeah, and I agree. There are so many people, and obviously veterans, police, so many people that are just so disgusted that this guy got elected. And we'll see where this goes. Who knows what comes out in the next few weeks or months or who knows? By the way, if the governor's race, who knows? If a Republican wins in the governor's race, they may say, let's get rid of this guy. There's a lot of things that can happen. You never know. I can say it definitely won't be boring. It'll be a bumpy ride. And as we always say, you got to keep this guy in check and do what President Trump says, which is fight, fight, fight. Harriet, thank you very much. And thank you for loving this country and caring about it so much. Thank you. Let's go to Reggie in Texas on line 5. Go ahead, Reg.
Hey, first of all, Miss Rita, happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was so great being with all of you guys yesterday. That was the best gift of all.
Oh, excellent. Unfortunately, you had a caller earlier. I don't recall the gentleman's name, but he was saying that the president is a cordial man and welcomes people. Yes, this is true, but...
Oh, that was Al. Yeah, Al from Yonkers, who's great.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't agree with Al because although the president will try to be cordial just as he is, this guy has a different... He has to answer to different people. His backers and the people that support him in the Democrat Party aren't going to tolerate anything that would resemble an olive branch or reaching out.
You mean Mamdani? In other words, Mamdani's going to come in all big and bad and full of bluster.
Yeah, right. Because he has to. He's got to give red meat to his followers. And unfortunately for him, this is like wrestling with a bunch of cats, and then all of a sudden getting in a cage with a tiger. He's going to try and claw. He's going to realize he's in the wrong fight. The one thing about Trump, when you punch him once, he'll punch you twice. And he's going to get rolled hard and put away wet.
Yeah, and I think, it's interesting. I agree. This is the big leagues. And Mamdani, he was a rapper not that long ago. But I think he's going to come in all sort of big and bad. And I also think, he can't wait to walk out of the Oval Office. I commend Trump for giving, listen, he's the new mayor about to be on January 1st. So I commend Trump for having the patience to meet with this guy and caring enough about New York. It's his hometown. And I do agree it's the right thing to at least listen to him. But he also does need to put this guy in his place. If he starts wandering off or, going into the word salad hogwash and also commitments, too. He's got to have to say, here's what I'm expecting. If you want to get federal funds, there are certain standards that every American city that abides by American laws and American values must adhere to. And here it is. And will you agree to this? And I may need to send ICE in to do this. Will you promise me you're not going to blank blank? Will you promise me you're not going to do this? And who knows? Mamdani may do a whole bunch of promises. I'm not confident he's going to keep those promises. He may sit there and smile like he did during the debate. Remember in the debates and even in some of the interviews. And a lot of the media gave this guy a free pass, and that's a huge problem. But, he did that globalize the intifada answer, and anybody listening was saying he's not answering the question, and he didn't get a follow-up. Same thing happened during a lot of the debates. He got a free pass, whereas I think Trump needs to kind of say, wait a minute, I didn't hear this. You're promising this. Well, let's see. Okay, let's see if you abide by it. Trump is going to keep him. Look how tough they were even with Eric Adams, even having a good relationship with Eric Adams. We talked earlier today with Tom Homan, and Tom Homan, I remember, before the campaign, before things got really heated, he's like, listen, This is what Eric Adams promised he would do in terms of helping with, illegal immigration. He's not doing enough. And he kept him to it. So I think they're going to keep this guy to it. The problem is this guy seems very arrogant, seems to think he's full of himself. And just like you said, he's going to try to give red meat, I agree, to his DSA base. And he's going to want to come out of the White House and say, I told the president he needs to do a better job of this. He was nice. He was charming. And I'm going to do a great job here. And he knows it, and I told him so. I told this. I said this. If he agrees to it, then we can work together. Like he's going to try to look like he's got all the cards. So I think we're going to have to look at body language too as well, Reggie. And boy, oh boy, I can't wait to see what happens on Friday. Reggie, thank you very much. Everybody, we're going to continue your calls after the break. 1-800-848-9222.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I use Shipt same-day delivery to stay connected with my sister during the holidays. She lives across the country. Shipt has tons of stores to order from. Groceries from Albertsons, crafts from Michael's, even pet supplies from PetSmart. The list goes on. So when we have long-distance movie nights, I turn to Shipt to get face masks, snacks, and everything else we need delivered to her and to me same day. Download the app or visit Shipt.com. That's SHIPT.com.
Grabbing the holidays by the boughs with Duluth. Step 1. Hire a mall Santa to handle snow removal.
Ho, ho, ho! My sciatica.
Step 2. Hit Duluth Trading and load up on fire hose pants, buck naked underwear, pocket pack bibs, free swinging flannel, and all kinds of ingenious gear you won't find anywhere else. Grab the holidays by the boughs and shop Duluth Trading. Online and in-store.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana. Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... there, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And coming up in the next hour, we'll talk about the meeting of Mamdani and Trump at the White House. And also, this is wild. There are 6 Democrats with military background, some of them with the CIA, some of them Army, Navy. They're now coming out and they're essentially asking military members to, quote, do not act on what they believe are, quote, illegal actions, illegal orders by the commander-in-chief. How is that not treason? How is that not insurrection? This is shocking. We're going to talk about this and what the repercussions should be of that. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Sandra in New Jersey. Go ahead, Sandra, your thoughts.
Well, when I read today that the Trump administration has already found 30,000 young missing children, and already the deaths from fentanyl have decreased greatly, I think that everyone should just mind their own business and let this administration do what they're doing, because it's obviously working.
Right. By the way, you know, it's incredible. There are Democrats who are saying, I can't believe that President Trump is going after these really sweet, wonderful drug cartel leaders that are in these boats, these gunboats, you know, because they're going after, they did 21 hits. And they're saying, how could he do that to those nice, sweet, wonderful people? I mean, that's incredible.
I know. I mean, they're doing something right because, like I said, the numbers are going down. They see a big improvement. But you know what bothered me today, Rita? I was reading the Post today, and what do I see? Oh, there goes.
No, go ahead. What do you see?
I see Jeffrey Epstein in his underwear, and they're saying, well,
all right. Well, we'll put it this way. We'll leave it on the image of him in his underwear. That's enough of a nightmare.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Kay Jewelers' early Black Friday sale is happening now. Get up to 50% off Black Friday deals and up to 40% off everything else. Don't miss this sale. Start your season with savings, only at Kay. Exclusions apply. See Kay.com/exclusions for details.